There's been talks about whether any member of Donald Trump's cabinet would make their own presidential run in 2028. The most recent was when Herbert C. Hoover, who served as Secretary of State to both Warren G. Harding and J. Calvin Coolidge, Hoover was elected in 1928, which means unless someone with political experience makes a presidential run and is elected in 2028, it'll be essentially 100 years since the nation have elected its first. All of this combines with Secretary of State and Attorney General and doesn't include vice presidents, most of which will be discussed later. While it's rare to see any one of these people become president, it's almost just as rare for one of them to be presidential candidates. Trump's cabinet contains many former Secretary of State. Marco Rubio competed against Trump for the 2016 nomination. Secretary of Interior Doug Burgum did the same in 2024. Also in 2024, National Health of Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ran as an independent candidate. Of the 45 men to serve as president, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Quincy Adams, Van Buren, Buchanan, Taft, and Hoover have all served in the cabinet position. All the way from Jefferson to Adams, the Secretary of State in general was seen as one of the best stepping stones to the presidency. And after Jackson's 2 terms, Van Buren was elected. After Van Buren, there was a sharp drop-off with cabinet members becoming president, with only 3 more wide out. Then Buchanan, then Taft, and then Herbert Hoover. Some also do consider George H. Bush to be, as he served under Gerald Ford, but the position that Bush served in is not considered to be a cabinet position, but a cabinet level position. In some ways, cabinet level positions aren't in the line of succession. Some also considered Franklin D. Roosevelt to be, as he served as Assistant Secretary of the Navy under Woodrow Wilson, though that's not a cabinet position nor a cabinet level position. Some also consider Ulysses S. Grant to be, as he served as Acting Secretary of War. But however, that wasn't involved as one. It's worth noting that James Monroe was both Secretary of War and Secretary of State. There have been a lot of Whig heroes. 3 out of the 4 major party candidates of the Whigs were famed war heroes, and 2 of them went on to win the presidency. Zachary Taylor defeated Lewis Cass, a former Secretary of War. Taylor had no prior political experience due to the likes of Madison, Monroe, and John Q. Adams. Adams once commented on the populist of war heroes, saying, quote, "Military is undeniable." Adams was speaking in reference to Andrew Jackson, his 2-time election rivals for the presidency in both 24 and 28. William Henry Harrison defeated Martin Van Buren, a former Secretary of State and sitting president. All of this combined with the fact of anyone becoming president, and even cabinet presidents would run against the people that they would serve in. James Garfield, Secretary of State, James D. Blaine had been one of the main contenders for the 1880 nomination until Garfield was settled on as a compromise candidate. Cleveland Secretary of State Connie Rubio was believed to drop out of the running in 1892 due to the promise of a cabinet position. George Romney competed with Richard Nixon in 1968 prior to serving as the House and Urban Development in his cabinet. Hillary Clinton contended with Barack Obama for the 2008 nomination prior to serving in her cabinet. There were some who were already. James G. Blaine was already Secretary of State when when Benjamin Harrison appointed him as the Secretary of State. John Kerry was the 2004 Democratic nomination, and then later served as Barack H. Obama as Secretary of State. Pete Buttigieg contended with Joseph Robertson Biden for the 2020 Democratic nomination, and later served as Biden's Secretary of Transportation. All this combined with the fact of one of Trump's cabinet running in 2028 and making their own presidential run. DJ Vance had been viewed as one of the main contenders for the 2028 nomination, so he might have a good, maybe a bad chance of getting his polished nomination. Trump is also thinking about running for a third term in 2028. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing to support more uploads from this channel and to see more videos about the United States presidents.